Ladies and gents, boys and girls, good morning. Tuesday, April the 25th, 2023. Hope you're all doing well. Chris Phillips here, your host of the Daily Crow of the Spurs Up Show. Appreciate you all tuning in. I see Will Hall, Lance, Justin Langford, DGD, Brandon Ward, Travi, Austin, AJ, GA, John Edward, Brendan M. What's going on? Ethan, appreciate you all tuning in. Also those in the Big Cock Club Discord, head over to the TDC Questions channel, the TDC Questions channel, which right now looks more like the Slap Dickery channel, thanks to Brennan M. Either way, though, appreciate you all. Y'all head over there, ask your questions, and we'll take your calls as well. 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377 here on this Tuesday. Guys, of course, always TDC brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks. Go download the Prize Picks app or go to prizepicks.com. When you do, use that promo code TSUS to receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. Guys, you can play literally anything and everything. College sports, pro sports, you name it, they've got it over at Prize Picks. So many fans and listeners of the Daily Crow and of the Spurs Up Show have made tons of money with our friends at Prize Picks, and you should as well. So again, go download the Prize Picks app or go to prizepicks.com. When you do, again, use that promo code TSUS to receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. Be sure to check them out and tell them that Chris from the Spurs Up Show sent you. Guys, we are rocking. We are rolling here on this Tuesday. First things first, thank you all so much for being flexible with your schedules today. I was really not expecting to go 10 to 12. Thought it'd be a normal noon to 2, but had something come up later today that I need to go out of town for, and just wanted to move things up so we can go ahead and get on the road. So thank you all so much for being flexible. Appreciate you all tuning in. Also, with that being said, I'm about to throw you another curveball, as of course, normally we have JC Sherbert on the show on Thursday afternoons at 1:15. He will actually join us today in about 10 minutes or so. JC Sherbert will jump on the show today because, of course, no TDC on Thursday and Friday because we will be out of town in beautiful Myrtle Beach as we conclude the TSUS Spring Tour. Looking forward to hanging out with all my Myrtle Beach Gamecocks on Thursday. That event gets going at 6 o'clock. Guys, we'll do a little bit of a Q&A, if you will, around 7 or 7:30. And then the NFL draft takes place at 8 o'clock. So going to be a lot of fun. Not sure if any Gamecocks will be taken on night number 1. But certainly, you think about guys like Cam Smith, Zach Pickens, Darius Rush, etc., that should be hearing their name called when the NFL draft gets going. But either way, in the meantime, guys, like I said, taking your questions, your comments, your calls, 843-790-3377. The phone lines are open. We'll go live until noon. And like I said, JC Sherbert will jump on at 10:15. Also, completed a fantastic conversation this morning with former Georgia quarterback Aaron Murray. Murray joining the show. That's going to be on the podcast that drops on Thursday. And a great convo, guys. Knocked that out this morning. Really great stuff. Aaron Murray does a great job with ESPN, SEC Network. He's doing great work with the Players Tribune. He's got his own podcast as well. So I know it's a little bit of a different convo, right? Because it's not a former Gamecock. It's a former Bulldog. But Aaron does a great job talking SEC, talking everything to do with SEC football. And Aaron Murray, for sure, man. Looking forward to it. Also, we got some I asked him about Jadeveon Clowney, so there's some fun combo in there as well. But really, really good stuff. And I think a combo you guys are going to thoroughly enjoy for sure. Again, we'll get into your questions here. Again, JC Sherbert upcoming at 10:15. Michael Smith, do you think all the success of the women's basketball program and the now recent success of the baseball program and excitement of football under Shane Beamer puts added pressure on Lamont Paris and the men's basketball program this upcoming season? I mean, Michael, is there pressure to win? Sure, but I think you have to be very realistic when it comes to Lamont Paris and this basketball program. And I said it many times, guys, last year, that last year was year 0 under Lamont, and I stand by that. Like, this really does feel like year 1. And I'm not trying to make excuses for Lamont Paris already. Or, yeah, I'm not trying to make excuses for him going into this season, but this last year felt like year zero, and you're just kind of you're hitting the restart button again, because you lose GG Jackson, hell, you lose Chico Carter. I know the boys Brendan Dalton will say Lamont is cooking, and certainly I'm sure he is, but I will go into, admittedly, I will go into season number 2 of Lamont Paris with low expectations yet again. Like if you could make the NIT this year, I think that'd be a massive victory. I think it'd be a huge victory for South Carolina because you're picking up some nice pieces in the portal. Don't get me wrong, but are you picking up like real game changers? Are you picking up guys that are all conference type of guys or all Americans? Not necessarily. I mean, I see people losing their minds over a Wofford transfer, and I'm sure BJ Mack's a nice player. Don't get me wrong, but like I'm just saying as a whole, as a collective, I'm not trying to single him out. I will have very, very reasonable expectations for Lamont Paris in this program in season number 2. What feels like to me year 1, with last year being year 0 effectively. So we'll see. Maybe Lamont will cook and he'll surprise us, but making the NIT, making any sort of postseason after what you did last year, making any sort of postseason, I think it'd be a great season. I mean, it'd be a great season. Absolutely. So, but does it put more pressure? I mean, I think that, I think that when all of your programs are doing well, I think certainly you want to, the ones that are lagging behind, if you will, it does put more pressure on them. But I will say this, excuse me. I will say that when football's doing well, everything is better. It just flat out. It is. Like football being good alleviates a lot of the pressure on the other sports. Now, granted, baseball at South Carolina, we're always going to have high expectations. But I'm just saying, guys, that, I mean, let's just call it for what it is. Basketball could be really good, both men's and women's. Baseball can be good. But if football was terrible, nobody'd be happy right now. Like, football being good has to do with a lot of, I would say probably 70 to 75% of people's moods as a fan. Like when football's good, it cures all ills. It's why people resort to, if you lose to a team in baseball or in basketball, you resort to, well, yeah, but football. Like people always fall back on football. You know what I mean? Like it just is what it is because it's what moves the needle. It's what moves the needle. Again, guys, 10:15, we're getting JC Sherbert on the show, an early appearance for JC today. And, of course, with no TDC Thursday or Friday, needed to find time to get him in. Glad JC is willing to be flexible. Excited to chat with him. For sure. Let's see. Chase says, I think NIT would be huge. I think year 2 is just a winning record would be success, or at least I'd be happy even without the postseason. I mean, you got to take small steps, my friend. You got to take small steps. Yeah, Sean, football makes it all go round, no doubt. Let's see. No, it's funny. Aaron Murray, though, made the point. He was like, yeah, I don't think Gamecock fans hate me because I went 1-3 against them. So I don't think Gamecock fans hate me too much because they beat me every single year. So, no, Aaron was awesome, man. Aaron was awesome. And as you guys know, I run towards conversations with different perspectives. And, so I like getting – different guys on. And guys, I'll just keep it transparent, keep it a buck. It's also one of those things where I think about long-term longevity of my growth as an entrepreneur and growth as a content creator and eventual expansion and talking the entire SEC. And so building relationships with guys that have connections and ties to different schools is something that I'm absolutely open to doing and probably will continue to do throughout this offseason as we get into preseason and what have you. It's something I will most certainly do. So, really great conversation with Aaron Murray. That will drop on Thursday. Chance Crocker says, I know it's early, but where do you think South Carolina will finish in the 2024 class? I think there's a good chance this is without a doubt a top 10 class. It's hard to say exactly where, but no, I mean, this is certainly on pace to be. This is certainly on pace to be one of the best recruiting classes, if not the best recruiting class in school history, for sure. Let's see. Okay, cool. Lance says, I'm so surprised that we haven't lost a quarterback yet in the portal, but it may be coming. I take it this, Lance. I'm surprised that there hasn't been any portal action, whether it be guys departing or us adding players. Granted, there's still time. There's still time. We got about a week or so. And I'm excited to get JC's thoughts and see maybe if he has any portal intel. But yeah, I'm a bit surprised as well. And I'll say this, though. I'm not going to make any more assumptions, Lance, on who's going to hit the portal from South Carolina and who's not, because you know what? Shane Beamer has built such a culture that I think everyone is ecstatic to be there, right? And I thought our guy, Bad Brad, in the Discord made a great point about this. And I will just say, I'll paraphrase what he had to say. That we got a lot of guys in that quarterback room that are probably backups that are in a good position at South Carolina to fight for playing time. And so why not enjoy being an SEC quarterback, being part of a thriving, flourishing program versus starting over somewhere else? I think there's some guys that see that the grass isn't always green on the other side, right? Again, Chad Gobbin, I see your comment. What are your thoughts on South Carolina getting an O-line, D-line, running back in the portal? Haven't heard any names. Curious what you think. Do we also look for receiver? Chad Goblin said he wants to go recruit the whole team out there in the portal. I don't know of any names. We're targeting the Florida State defensive end was one that, or edge, excuse me, was one that visited. So we'll keep an eye on that. But again, things have been pretty quiet on the South Carolina side of things when it comes to the transfer portal. And but certainly, I'm sure Shane Beamer and company are being active on that side of things. And of course, the Gamecocks being active on the basketball side of things in the portal. Chico Carter gone. BJ Mack is one from Wofford. I know they're trying to pull in extremely hard, so that would be a big pickup as well. Guys, like I mentioned, 10:15. We're going to go ahead and get him in here. J.C. Sherbert has been kind enough to be flexible with his schedule. Of course, normally we have JC on Thursdays at 1:15, but with my schedule, no TDC Thursday, Friday, felt like, hey, we need to get him in. Let's change things around. Let's go ahead and bring him in. JC Sherbert of Inside the Gamecocks join us. First things first, JC, good morning, and thank you so much for being flexible with your schedule. I know it's obviously, I think it's 9:15 for you, right? So I appreciate rolling with the punches and joining us this morning, my friend. How you doing?
Hey, no problem. Good to be with you today on a Tuesday. I know that we both have things going on later part of this week, so this works good. I'll actually be back in South Carolina for the Carolina Rise events Thursday in Columbia and Saturday in Charleston. So looking forward to getting back home, but always glad to check this off my check the box on doing this every week with you guys.
Yeah, JC, for sure. That's we'll start there. First things first. Let everybody know about the Carolina Rise events, obviously for the Columbia Gamecocks. And you said Saturday in Charleston, right? Just let everybody know how they can, how they can support, how they can join the events, what have you. Obviously,
Sure.
Great calls going to the athletes.
Oh yeah, definitely. All the money goes to the players. We got a good group of football guys coming out. The almost the whole offensive line, including the newcomers Sidney Fugar and Nick Gargiulo. I think all the veterans will be out there. They're going to have a wing eating contest. That'll be cool. DeCarrion Joyner, Mario Anderson. So there's top two running backs, Xavier Leggett, Mo Kaba, Marcellus Dial. There's a good probably half dozen to dozen to a baker's dozen that are going to be out there. And then in Columbia, we'll have some special guests from the football program and baseball program. Saturday in Charleston, we'll have some special guests, but they'll be kind of more alums and things of that nature since Saturday the Gamecocks have a baseball game. And so it wasn't in the cards to get Jack Mahoney and some of those other guys out, but they will be in Columbia. Tickets are $50. If you use promo code TBS, you get $10 off. We're also selling them at the door. Cash is $45, credit card, Venmo, whatever's $50. That includes a meal at Home Team Barbecue. And the event in Columbia is Home Team Barbecue at 5 Points, Charleston's home team in Mount Pleasant. That includes the meal, one item signed if you bring it, or you can get it from us. It includes unlimited pictures with the players. Kids get in free with an adult ticket. You have entertainment with the wing eating contest. We're going to have a 50-50 raffle, door prize drawings, just about whatever you want. It is a fundraiser. We do. Carolina Rise has only been around for 11 months, but the plan is to do some fundraiser type stuff in the spring, and then in the fall do kind of a give back to our members that support NIL Carolina with a VIP tailgate and things like that. But this is a fundraiser. We're trying to make money to fund some of these deals. I think we've done a really good job. If you look at all the baseball players, recently we added Ethan Petrie to the list. I think we got about 17 of the top 20 players on the roster. And that matters, Chris, because it's 11.7 scholarships in that sport. So these guys are just trying to get full tuition and books and meals or whatever. So we're excited about that. We're excited about the money we put into football. 70 to 80% does go into football. We put some into men's basketball as well. We need the support. Spring is a weird time in South Carolina because everybody wants to go golf, and then we'll go to the lake, we'll go to the beach or whatever. So we totally understand if people can't make it out. So we have a rain check package where, you can pay for the price of a ticket, and we'll mail you signed items from the kids that are there, a signed photo, a signed item from one of them, the gift bag that you get at the door, and some other stuff. So it's a pretty good value for those that can't show up. You can go to carolinarise.com, or you can go to thebigspur.com and get information on all that. And certainly we'd love to have anybody that wants to come out. Home Team Barbecue on Thursday will be from 4 to 7 in Columbia. And on the Mount Pleasant location, we're going to do it noon to 4, so everybody can kind of chill out and watch Gamecock baseball. We'll have the draft on and everything else at Charleston for those of you that are draftniks and want to check the 4th through 7th round that day. But we're going to have a good time. We're looking forward to it. I have a lot of sponsors for the event. We certainly appreciate them, but it's the Gamecock fan base that really makes the NIL situation at Carolina go. And it's really improved since we've been doing this and all that good stuff. So I would invite everybody out to Home Team in 5 Points. It does not include a bar, but the bar will be open. So you come out and have some adult beverages and do whatever you'd like and spend time with the Players Network, do whatever. And this starts at 4 in Columbia, and then at noon for the Charleston event. So and everybody is invited out. Again, promo code TBS. If you go to the website and follow the link for the Eventbrite page for the tickets, you get $10 off. So pretty good deal on that. And we certainly have hopes that people will come out and support the Gamecock players.
Yeah, great event to bring the kids out too, JC. Like I said, kids get in free. Yeah. So bring the whole family, bring the kids, if you will. You got an early pick for the wing eating contest? Anybody that you're putting your money on?
Like a lot of my guys are like, a lot of our guys are, they're saying Trey Jones. Okay. I think Tyshawn Wanamaker or Sidney Fugar, though. I've got my money on those guys. And if I got a dark horse, it's probably Ja'Kai Moore. So there you go with that one. Or Nick Gargiulo. Gargiulo, people may be kind of undervaluing his ability to down some wings. But, I was talking on 107.5 earlier today, Chris, with Preston Thorne, and the wing eating contest came up, and he said, he played D-line at Carolina. They used to order 200 at a time. So these guys, it's all proteins. These guys can put some wings back. So hopefully they don't break the budget on that at Home Team, and hopefully Home Team still has wings left. But we're certainly looking forward to that and having a good time networking. And like I said, who knows who else from the baseball program you may meet. And those guys are not, they're kind of just special guests. So if they're willing, they can sign autographs and take pictures with you too. So you may get to meet, I don't know, a future baseball Hall of Famer, so to speak. Who knows?
JC, speaking on the offensive line, and I don't necessarily, there's a reason I didn't ask you last week because, speculating on injuries, I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing to me, but I've just been peppered with questions about this Jalen Nichols thing. And so I'll just allow you to speak on it with the latest of what you've heard, right? I'm not really necessarily asking you to speculate, but what information do you have? Because so many people are concerned about his status. And I know that you guys put something up on the boards, and I know we love Phil Kornblue. I won't be like Phil and put it out there. I'll let you do it.
Whoa,
yeah, just and we love Phil, but I thought that was funny. Anyways, just what have you heard the latest on Jalen Nichols? Obviously, that is a really big, literally and figuratively, piece of this football team that if he's out for an extended period of time, it's going to impact this Gamecocks offense. So, latest on Jalen Nichols.
Well, I actually talked to Jalen last night. I got a text with him about the event. I thought he was probably not going to be able to make it, but he followed up and said he'll be there. So I didn't necessarily ask him about his, if he has a torn ACL or not, but I've heard it is a knee injury that's going to have him out for an extended period of time. So I think that the Gamecocks are going to probably start looking for some answers at left tackle. Fugar is going to come into play out there. I don't know, Chris, and I'll see what you think about this. I think Wanamaker is fine at right tackle. Is he ideal? Is he as good as he would be on the interior? Probably not, but he holds his own, and he's been doing it for 3 years. I mean, experience there goes a long way. I don't know that he's a left, though. Ja'Kai Moore has played left, but he's been up and down. Maybe he saves his best for last. He's kind of been going through some things off the field, not behavioral or anything like that, just family related. And so when he gets back and gets going, perhaps that's an answer. Perhaps Sidney Fugar is the answer there. But as well as they've recruited on the O-line, this is kind of a gap year. You know what I'm saying? You don't have Cam Pringle and Josiah Thompson and Big Mike Williams and Blake Franks going into year 2 or 3 where they're ready to go. Even like guys like Big Tree Babalade aren't on campus yet. I thought it was good for Marquis Anderson to kind of get thrown to the wolves at left tackle once Nichols went down. So I thought that, I thought that he struggled, but then he did some good things. And when you're young and you can go out there and struggle and get your butt whipped and it doesn't cost your team, I think that makes you a better football player in time. So, don't rule out one of these freshmen, coming on, the light coming on, and whether it's Marquis or Big Tree or whoever. I doubt it'll be Jatavius Shivers. Everything I've heard about him is he's a couple of years away, but he does have that prototypical tackle body. But, one of those two, Big Tree, Marquis, maybe, but I think you're looking at a Wanamaker, Moore, Sidney Fugar kind of situation without Nichols out there, and like I said, I said, from what I hear, it's a serious knee injury. He's going to miss extended time. Just like Shane Beamer, I'm going to let him announce what it is just because it's his deal. And, maybe we'll find out at the event. I don't know. He's going to be there. So I don't know if he'll be on crutches or not, but certainly was happy to hear from him the other day. Seems like he's in good spirits, and certainly looking forward to seeing Jalen at the event. He's a really good kid and has done a lot of good NIL stuff for Carolina Rising and Garnet Trust. And really, it was just a shame what happened in the spring game.
And so now you mentioned the left tackle position, JC, and potentially, Fugar or Wanamaker or Ja'Kai Moore, or maybe the transfer portal. I know that they've offered an offensive lineman, I think, from Tulane, if I recall that correctly. But a lot of people, again, asking about, or maybe surprised at this point that there haven't been any additions from the transfer portal. What's the latest you're hearing on who the Gamecocks are targeting, and would you expect any movement this week? Or, just by the end of the cycle, do you expect the Gamecocks to add a couple players from the portal?
Yeah, and I need to check on the rule. The portal closes April 30th, which I take to mean, Chris, that you don't have to pick that closes for kids to go into it.
Right.
I don't think they're like closing the door on the what is it 30% of the guys that don't even have a single offer to go in the portal. So I think they can still sign people. I just think it's a matter of who's going in. That's the deadline that you're up against right now. Honestly, it's been really quiet on my end and everybody's end as far as that goes. You sort of had McFadden and the kid from Utah State, and then the D tackle that ended up going to Arkansas, uh, Tank Booker from Maryland that visited. Those are grad transfers, so they were able to visit earlier. And then it's kind of been quiet. I do know they want a DN. I know the last thing I heard when I checked about running back was looking for the right guy. There seems to be new people going in the portal every day, including a third of Colorado's roster. So, way to go, Prime. I don't know, but it's so we'll see. We'll see. It's been quiet, and I think Chris, the more surprising thing, it's been quiet on outbound
Mhm.
on Carolina's end. We were hearing 4 to 8 guys probably. Nobody that I think you'd panic over, but that hadn't happened. And I think it's kind of a testament to the program Shane Beamer's built here and the culture. Everybody talks about he's established. Guys don't want to leave. I mean, the guys that left like last off season left for reasons other than they did not like it here. Let's just put it that way. And so I think in this era where guys can just up and go, that culture that you establish and that, making the kids feel like they're wanted, that you care about them, that they have a great relationship with the coaching staff and their teammates. That's more important now than ever because it doesn't bat 1,000, right?
Mhm.
But it bats a higher percentage that if you don't, and guys are just hightailing it out of your program for greener pastures, it really, I think, causes guys to sort of think twice. And like I said, the guys that left for reasons other than they weren't happy. Maybe the exception of Jaheim Bell, but that was more football related in terms of usage and things like that. The other guys, it's not like they didn't like South Carolina. They just,
Mhm.
like I said, left for other reasons.
Mhm. JC, do you feel like the transfer portal is almost kind of correcting itself in a way? I know it's obviously there's still tons of guys entering it, but like you look at a South Carolina, for example, and like you mentioned, I don't know, maybe I just feel like where maybe a couple of years ago, guys would just immediately into the portal, maybe, and it obviously helps again when you have Shane Beamer as your head coach and your program's trending upward and everything's going great. But maybe a lot of guys are starting to realize that truly the grass is not always greener. And when you have a story come out like the whole Jordan Birch thing, and God, we're talking to Mark Rogers, the voice of college ball yesterday, that things maybe aren't going quite as well with Jaheim Bell at FSU as they thought it would be, or he thought it would be. Like maybe guys are starting to reconsider that maybe would have entered the portal and they say, hey, I'm in a pretty good spot right here. Like, why disrupt that? Why go somewhere else? Why go into the unknown, if you will, where there are no guarantees. Like, do you feel like the portal is somewhat correcting itself, or and I know it just really speaks to Shane Beamer and the culture he's built, but it just kind of feels like there's a course correction that is happening organically with the transfer portal, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, I still kind of look at, I mean, Ra Thomas and Dom, and I think especially Chris with this portal period, the post spring, most of your activity takes place, in December. Uh, this post spring thing, it's really a lot of guys that are hunting for playing time,
Right.
and a lot of those guys think they're a lot better than they are, and that's just part of it. And I do think though that as time moves on, people are going to understand the grass isn't always greener. They're going to understand this is college football still, um, and you can go cash out for NIL money. You can listen to the wrong people and leave your current situation. Um, Maybe you go into a good situation. Maybe you're a quarterback and you feel like you can get on the field and you're like the other, 5 or 6 transfer quarterbacks that have been lit up college football the past few years. But the bottom line is that it's a situation where I think as guys, understand the reality that everybody always says it's a 40-year decision.
Mhm.
Well, it is. Like certain guys that are at certain schools, when they leave that school and they end up going elsewhere, I mean, you think, especially when it's like a lateral Power 5 to Power 5 move, You think the guys at the old school, let's say it's in their home state, so they have to go back there one day and live. You think people are not going to remember that? I mean, and that's 97% of the players that play college football, and this is what sometimes the national media that's hell bent on these guys getting millions of dollars and trying to set the market and all this ridiculous crap. 97% of the guys don't play pro ball, right? And for those 97%, college football it gives them an overwhelmingly positive benefit and opportunity when they want to enter the work world, when they want to go into coaching. College coaching jobs are pretty lucrative. They're probably a pain in the butt, but those guys get paid. I mean, you're talking jobs that pay, at the Power 5 level, $500,000 a year for a position coach in some cases. Nobody's walking into that kind of salary, going to wherever, start out for wherever. In the business world, it helps. I think that part of college football that's been overwhelmingly positive for, not, like I said, 97% of the guys that don't go pro has been overlooked. And I think premature transfer portal moves or transfer portal moves for the wrong reasons negatively impact that. And so, yeah, you may get a little extra, 70 grand or whatever in your pocket. That's good. That's not gonna last. I mean, 70 grand, that's not, you had to stretch that bad. You had to put that bad boy in some stock that explodes to live off of that. Whereas I think when you stay with one place, people remember that, and it's the general university community that takes care of guys and all that. So, I don't know. I think that I think that it will start to correct itself as people kind of start to realize, take a deep breath and go, I'm not going to go someplace, for $10,000 more worth of NIL money a year and ruin, the opportunities I have down the road and all that. Now, like I said, that's not everybody. Some guys, I mean, Carolina's benefited from inbound in the portal quite a bit. Juice Wells, Spencer Rattler, whatever. Everybody has their different reasons, but I think the general ones where you go, man, that wasn't a great move. I mean, he was going to start here or whatever. Those are going to be the types of decisions I think you'll see less and less of moving forward. People that panic about Alabama, Georgia, and Ohio State just rating everybody's program, that's not going to happen. Those coaches, first of all, those coaches are too smart for that at those schools. Second, that's just not something that I see happening with the portal. I see it actually kind of like you said, correcting itself and making much more sense moving forward.
Well, I mean, JC, I was going to say, I thought Shannon Terry spoke to this, and I think it's actually going to bring more parity to college football. Like when you really think about it, because, even Bama, Georgia, the top teams, like only so many guys can play. So like the best players, Georgia, Bama, those schools, they're still going to have depth, right? They're still going to have great depth, but like, I feel like other schools are going to get more good players, right? And it's going to also force schools to have a true commitment to having a great football program. Like if you're not committed to it and you're not financially committed in the NIL space, like you're going to get lapped. So I think it's actually going to bring more parity. And with the 12-team playoff, like I think you're going to see, I think it's going to be a much better product. I don't know. We'll see. I could be dead wrong. Maybe it'll be the same 4 teams or whatever. But, I think it's going to bring more parity to the sport. I mean, look at South Carolina. Like I can't even imagine where the Gamecocks would be right now without the portal. I'm not saying they wouldn't have still done great things under Beamer, obviously, but like you can't argue that like the addition of Rattler and Wells has insanely accelerated the growth of the program. I mean, absolutely.
Oh yeah, it'd be a slow build right now.
Right,
You'd be kind of maybe hoping to get to a bowl. And think about this, Chris. South Carolina does not beat Clemson last year without transfers from Wingate, East Tennessee State, and James Madison. I mean, that's a Division II, a lower level FCS, and a pretty high level FCS that's now FBS. The Gamecocks have done a really good job getting these guys from lower levels and stuff like that. And I can kind of see it becoming more like that where just like in basketball, you have a ton of mid majors that play up that were just misevaluated or slipped through the cracks or just flat out got better. So I think that's the deal there. So I honestly, I think that you're totally right. I mean, the portal's been a net positive for South Carolina, and will continue to be. But I think some of this anxiety, like every offseason, we're going to lose all our players. As long as you have a good culture, as long as people enjoy being there, as long as you preach the right thing, people are having a good time, you're winning, and you have some NIL money. I don't think you have to have millions. I mean, look, let's get an example here. Tennessee has probably more NIL money than anybody else because they have a group that started a year before the rest of us did. They've raised millions. I don't see Tennessee going and picking off guys from other schools. Do you? And believe me, if that's something that if certain coaches were still at Tennessee, I'm sure they'd be doing. And so there's that. You don't necessarily have to get intimidated. Oh my God, they got 24 million. It doesn't really work like that. And I agree with Shannon. There's going to be more parity, and especially when you consider, like South Carolina's case, there's a bunch of FCS guys that get drafted every single year. You lock in on those types of guys that should be up there, and you don't really. I mean, they had some competition for Juice, didn't really for Jalen Brooks, and didn't at all for Nate Atkins. Look how good those guys turned out. So, I think it's almost low hanging fruit where you can go get a guy if he gets in the portal from a lower level and really kind of make some noise. And, those are guys that are going to get drafted from there just as good as the 4 or 5 star guys you get out of high school, just except they're better and more finished products.
JC, I know you guys have your show coming up at 11. So one last thing, Gamecocks baseball, my goodness, what a loud weekend, sweeping the 3rd-ranked Florida Gators. South Carolina sits now atop the SEC, number 1 in the conference, sitting at 13-4 in SEC play. Just overall thoughts on, again, what was a dominating weekend, really felt like. Gamecocks at a 2.88 ERA, which I think really gets lost in the shuffle, with the bats, how good they are, Ethan Petrie, what he's doing, but the pitching I thought was dominant against one of the best lineups in all of college baseball. And I tell you, JC, one of my biggest takeaways, if not the takeaway of the weekend, South Carolina is going to be hosting a regional. They're probably going to be a top 8 national seed and hosting a super. Whoever's got to come to Founders Park, South Carolina is going to be really, really tough to beat. Because I tell you what, that atmosphere and the way this team gets fired up in front of the Rowdy Roosters, I mean, it's something special. So just overall thoughts, it was an incredible weekend for the Yardcocks.
Yeah, and I said that I won a 7-5 this morning when I was on there with Bill. I said, look, the Gamecock fans, I don't know that I don't want to call it a lost decade, Chris, because men's basketball did go to the Final Four. Women's won the national title, and there was some 9-win football season in there, and baseball did go to the Supers, whatever. It wasn't what everybody was used to, but I think some people, and then COVID hit. I think some folks may have gotten a little jaded, especially with Clemson football winning national championships and stuff like that. But Gamecock Nation is back, and you look at the support Beamer got this year in football. You look at the support the women's basketball program has. You look at the support the baseball program's getting now. It's back. And Founders Park, Michael Braswell's right. There are very few venues across the country that are as good as Founders when it's rocking and it's filled and people are, it's a very engaged baseball crowd. Has been since the days of Sarge Frye Field, but this is just Sarge Frye times 3. But, I think that the fans deserve a lot of credit. I also think this team is resilient. I think all those little buzzwords we used to hear during the Tanner era, battle, win anyway, duck snort or whatever he said that year. I mean, whatever Tannerism you want to come up with is applicable to this group. They just don't, nothing seems to faze them, and it starts with a guy named Ethan Petrie who, from what he told John Whittle, and Whittle's been public on this, is like, I had no idea that I would even. He's like, I was hoping to hit one home run this year, and look at him. A guy like Cole Messina. I mean, they in some ways, Petri and Messina kind of remind me of the old school Braves 3 and 4 when Dale Murphy and Bob Horner were on the Braves. It kind of reminds me of that. I don't know why. Um, but and then every time you turn around, there's a Michael Braswell stepping in and playing his best ball. There's, Talmadge LaCroix has had some good moments before he got hurt. Messina steps over. I mean, Jonathan French, who takes some heat sometimes, from the fans with his bat, steps up and gets a clutch hit when he's back there catching. I mean, Dylan Brewer, my goodness, he's come a long way this year. So, it seems like every time you turn around, it's next man up. It's that mentality. This team's tough to beat. And I think based on results, okay, I'm not basing it on preseason rankings or talent or hype or anything like that. Based on results, this is the best team in the country right now. This team has answered all challenges. They're first in the SEC. They're 34-6 overall. They're number one in the RPI. They've beaten the tar out of LSU in a game one, Vandy in a game one, Florida in game one, and they swept Florida. Lost 3 close games to Vandy and LSU, and those are 2 really good baseball teams. They're on track to do a lot, and I'm with you. I saw your post. I don't know that you want to be the number 1 overall seed if you can help it, because Miami won it in '99 as number 1 overall, and that's the last time anybody's done it. It's been 24 years. Now streaks come to an end, right? But I think right now South Carolina is in excellent shape, and there just has to be a lot of pride when you think about how this team has just continued to overcome things and overcome them relatively easily. It's not like it's been grinded out and stuff like that. It's just like, oh well, somebody will step up, and they usually do.
And JC, it's funny because I'm just thinking, we're a ways away from this, but maybe this will be the year the Gamecocks find a way to win a game or 2 in Hoover. Who knows?
Oh, my gosh.
It doesn't matter, right? 10, 11, 12. Doesn't matter how good South Carolina's been. Hoover's been a house of horrors.
Dude, I was doing a projected. I was in my mind, sometimes you project the wins, and I got to 47-8, and then I just went straight from 47-8 to 47-10. Was like, well,
hey,
add the 2 losses in Hoover.
There's some people out there, some conspiracy theorists that feel like Ray Tanner just liked the extra rest for his ball club before the regional. So, just go ahead and go 2 and rest the pitchers, and let's get ready for the real baseball that matters.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But it's that's just one of those things. So we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. We got a ways to go. JC Shurburtt inside the Gamecocks. JC, appreciate you being flexible. Y'all have a great show today, and I'll chat with you guys on Thursday. I appreciate you.
Thanks so much, Chris. Thanks, guys. See you.
Yeah, man. Take care. Great stuff from JC Shurburtt as always. And again, appreciate JC being flexible with his schedule and joining us here on this Tuesday. Really, really good stuff from JC Shurburtt. Guys, that being said, we're going to jump into our first break of the day on the other side. I want to hear from you, your questions, your comments, your calls, and more. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Appreciate you all tuning in. Tuesday, April the 25th, 2023. Taking your questions, comments, calls. 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377. Craig Godwin says, I don't care if we win in Hoover or not. Lynn says, if we're top 8, Hoover doesn't matter. You're right. You're correct. I mean, I'd like to see us win a game or two. I think it'd be fun to have a stay in Hoover for a little bit. But, it does not matter. You're right. I mean, I'll say this, like the SEC tournament for the top teams, a.k.a. a team like South Carolina, it doesn't mean anything. Like, really, it truly doesn't mean anything. It's a nice to have, not a need to have. If you already secured your place as the number 1 overall seed or just as a top 8 national seed, like, it doesn't mean a whole lot. Like, you don't need it. You know what I mean? You don't need it. I mean, look at 2010, 11, 12, what have you. I mean, those teams never did well in Hoover, and they were the best in college baseball. So, Madison says, thoughts on Texas and Oklahoma in the SEC? How big can a conference get before it's too big? By the way, it's my first year following the Yardcocks all season. This is fun. Madison, you picked a good first year. How big can a conference get before it's too big? I mean, anything beyond 16 teams, Madison, feels a little outrageous. I think we're definitely on the way, though, to having super conferences and having like 3 big conferences versus like the Pac-12 and the Big Ten, whatever. I think we're getting closer towards that. I think college football 10 years from now is going to look a lot different in regards to the alignment and how it's a realignment, if you will. I think it's going to look different, no doubt. So I'm excited for it, though. I'm excited, man. Listen, I mean, as someone who's a content creator, Madison, around the SEC sports, I know obviously I talk specifically Gamecocks, but, we do talk about the SEC naturally. I'm pumped for it, man. I'm really, really, really pumped for it. Not just for football either. Baseball, basketball, all the sports, man. All the sports. Going to be a lot of fun. Let's see. Anyways, guys, as JC Sherbert mentioned, be sure to check out and support if you're in Columbia on Thursday or Charleston on Saturday, the Carolina Rise events. I wish I could make it to either one of those. Thursday will be in Myrtle Beach for our final tour stop. And then Saturday, what's funny, I'll actually be in Charleston, but I will be sailing out for a cruise at that time. So, unfortunately, will not be able to make it. But definitely, if you're in Columbia or Charleston, be sure to check out those events. Really, really good stuff and great things that go towards Gamecocks athletes for sure. Let's see. Todd Smith. Hey, Chris, when do we find out about sponsoring a regional or a super sponsoring? Are you talking about hosting, Todd? You said sponsoring. Are you talking about hosting? What are you talking about specifically? Frank says, ooh, go Yardcocks. 130 days until kickoff, which, Frank, means 30 days until we begin our countdown to Gamecocks football. That's always a lot of fun, posting the countdowns, if you will. Todd Smith, okay, yes. When we find out about hosting, that will not happen, Todd Smith, until Selection Sunday. Or no, excuse me, I think it's Selection Monday, actually. It's Selection Monday. I'll give you the exact day here. The college baseball tournament selection show will be noon Eastern, Monday, May the 29th on ESPN2. There you go. Monday, May the 29th on ESPN2. So we may, I don't know, that day we may go, I don't know how we'll do the Daily Crow. Maybe we'll just have it on together. I don't know. That'd be kind of weird. I'd probably say we do Daily Crow 12:30 to 2:30, something like that. I don't know. Either way, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We got a ways to go. But, yeah, Monday, May the 29th, noon on ESPN2. Then the regionals begin June 2nd. Supers begin June 9th. And the College World Series begins June the 16th with the finals beginning June the 24th. So that would be fantastic to have college baseball, South Carolina baseball specifically, to talk about all the way until the middle of June. I've never had that, obviously, in the lifetime, the history of TSUS. And I've told you guys many times, one of my dreams has been that I'll be doing the Daily Crow and we'll be in Omaha. I mean, that really, truly is one of my dreams, one of my goals, something that I would just love to do. And, while I may not, I haven't been to a game all year. We go to Omaha, though. You can bet your ass I'll be there. You can bet your ass I will be in Omaha. No question. Let's see. Will Korb says, Chris getting Hollywood with all the trips. LOL, living your best life. Good stuff. Will, have I taken that many trips, Will? I mean, just living life, my guy. But no, it'll be a good time. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you guys, being flexible. There will be no TDC next week until Friday. So Monday through Thursday, no TDC. But I will be recording and dropping the podcast on Monday and Thursday from the cruise ship. Also, we'll be posting content, not quite as much probably because, I want to enjoy myself, but I did get premium Wi-Fi for our room just so I could go back to the room and post content and check in. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And it's really cool. Life comes full circle, if you will, because I went on a cruise 6 years ago, the summer of 2017. And at that point, I went off the grid for like 5 days and didn't feel the need to post or be on social media because we had like 100. I don't even think we had 100 followers yet on Twitter. So now to be at this point, it's really cool. You know what I mean? It's really just cool to see 6 years later, and really excited about it, man. Really excited for it. Todd Smith, assuming tickets will go on sale right after that. Yeah, I would assume so, Todd. I would assume so. Those things will sell out quickly, too. I would imagine them things will sell out quickly. Yeah, been a lot of happy lattes, Lance, for the baseball team this season. No doubt. No doubt. Let's see, guys. 843-790-3377. Michael Smith says, Chris, how insane would Founders Park be for a super regional series between South Carolina and Coastal Carolina? That would be nuts, Michael Smith. That would be nuts. I mean, I'd love to see it, man. Coastal's gotten red hot, and they're ranked in the top 8, obviously ranked 6th right now by D1Baseball.com. So, yeah. Yeah, would love to see it. Let's see. Wow, Mississippi State Ole Miss tonight. How about that? Of course, no midweek game for the Yardcocks. No midweek game for the Yardcocks tonight. But a packed midweek slate. I think the Gamecocks are the only team not playing. You got Georgia, Georgia State, Florida, North Florida, Tennessee, Bellarmine, Kentucky, Louisville. That's a good one on SEC Network. Bama, Samford, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Auburn, Troy, A&M, Sam Houston, LSU plays Nichols, and Missouri State hosting the Arkansas Razorbacks. Interesting. So the Gamecocks' weekend opponent, Auburn, will take on Troy. That'll be a good game. Troy's a good ball club. Troy's a very good ball club, led by Skylar Meade, former Gamecocks pitching coach. How about that? But anyways, guys, May 29th, that Monday, that is when the selection show will take place. That'll be a lot of fun, man. It's just thinking about postseason baseball. It was back in Columbia in 2021, but the Gamecocks kind of backed their way into that, right? They were the 2 seed, and they were one of the 16 or one of the 20 sites, if you will, that was chosen as a host site. The Gamecocks didn't. Let's just call it for what it is. They didn't really earn that hosting, right? It was one of those things where they backed their way into it. So this year feels different. For there to be postseason baseball and the Gamecocks be hosting a regional and hosting a super, I mean, oh, man, what a time. There's really, truly nothing better than postseason baseball in Columbia, South Carolina. And, I have not gone to a game this season. We're going to go for the Tennessee series, but I haven't gone to a game this season. And, but I tell you what, I'm just, the live stream watch-alongs have been awesome, and they would do really well for the postseason. They would do extremely well. And I'm not sitting here telling you that we may not still do that. I haven't really decided. But damn, it's going to be hard for me to not venture down to Columbia for those games, for the regionals, because it is a blast. I was there for the regionals in 2021, and that was a good time. That was a lot of fun. So may have to run it back, may have to do it again. Anyways, guys, we're ending our second hour. 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377 here on this Tuesday, April the 25th. Let's see. Madison says the whole series. What do you mean? Like I'd be in Columbia? Yeah, if I was in Columbia for the regionals, I'd be there for all 3 days or all however many days it would take. Austin Greer says we're going to sweep Auburn. I won't drop predictions quite yet, but I mean, you'd like to think, man, the Gamecocks back at home should be another great weekend. Why not? I mean, I think South Carolina will be in good position, no doubt. Michael Smith. Okay, we already read that one. Old questions popping back up, if you will. Guys, NFL draft is on Thursday. How you guys feeling about it? Are you excited? Are you big into the NFL? I'll be honest with you, I'm not a huge NFL guy, but I'm definitely excited to see where certain Gamecocks go, if you will. Where certain Gamecocks go. Very excited for that. Guys, thank you all so much again for being flexible with your schedules. Jumping on a TDC, it's just such a blessing. I mean, I can't state it enough. It's such a blessing that we have the ability to change things up, move the show to earlier, later, do whatever we need to do, move the podcast around. And you guys, you don't get deterred by it. You guys just keep showing up and tuning in and showing love and showing support. And so I just, again, thank you so much. I do not take that for granted. Dylan Potter says we need to pull a TSUS tailgate for postseason play. Dylan, it's not a bad idea. Lot 1 is calling our names, isn't it? So, it's not a bad idea at all. Not a bad idea at all. It's not a bad idea at all. So it's something I'm considering. It's something that, I'd certainly like to do. But, Dylan, I mean, not to take the conversation down a different path, but, I've been very transparent with you guys. And, especially when I lived in Columbia and really going back to last year, I used to, I used to just throw tailgates constantly, right? I used to just constantly promote, hey, we're going to be out here, like come out here, the Rowdy Roosters tailgate, what have you. And I feel like, we're doing the tour event. So we're still doing a lot of stuff out and about, but, I used to be at every single game and I used to be doing bunches of tailgates. And again, so many people have questions of why I'm, not doing that. I mean, yesterday I'm getting heckled on TDC of why am I not going to games anymore? Well, number one, I don't live in Columbia anymore, right? So that's number one. I mean, I said it when I moved that, hey, football season will be unaffected. I'm still going to go to every football game, but baseball, basketball, I realized last year that I didn't need to be at every game. It's just not necessary. Like, and it's funny. I remember last year when the Gamecocks were losing, I was getting heckled for going to the games, and people were telling me, please stop going because you're a jinx, and every time you show up, we lose. So it's kind of funny how that switches up and how that changes. And I don't really know why people care if I go to games. Like, I don't know what difference it makes. Like, it really does not make a difference. Like, I produce content just the same, if not at a higher level. I do produce content at a higher level, watching it from home and having my phone in front of me, being connected to Wi-Fi and being locked in on the task at hand. So flexibility, efficiency, as I said yesterday and I've said before, that truly has been what's led my decision-making in regards to, getting out of Columbia. I wanted the flexibility of not having to go to every game, not having to be so plugged in and locked in, be locked into one city and one place. And I love to travel and I love to get out and about. And so, that's why I left Columbia. I wanted to increase my flexibility with business and take advantage of the unique flexibility that being an entrepreneur gives me. I felt like it would have been a mistake to not pursue that. Right. But, I would be lying to you guys if I told you that, one of the other things, my top priorities as an entrepreneur and a human being, flexibility, efficiency, but also my privacy. I mean, truly, that has become over the last year plus or so something I've put so much more emphasis and focus on is my privacy and not giving maybe everyone quite as much access to me as folks previously had. Because let's call it for what it is. There are a lot of great Gamecocks in this fan base, and the ones that matter are the ones that show love and show support and support the content, the business, the merchandise, what have you. But there is a loud minority of folks that are Gamecocks that hate my guts. And those people, listen, they go to games, right? And they are diehard Gamecocks. And it's unfortunate because it's not about letting the inmates run the asylum, but all it takes is one or two or a small few to just flat out ruin the experience. Until you ask this is not like the lead reason of why I have not been to a game or I haven't thrown as many tailgates, but like, I don't want to subject myself to the inmates. I don't want to subject myself to the slapdickery, especially when I don't have to. Like, guys, for years, I put up with it. This was happening last year, going to baseball games or going to games in general, and people are taking pictures of me unsolicited, posting them on social media, talking. Dude, I had a fan talk shit to me at the bowl game. I've had fans talk shit to me at games. I felt the chirping. And now, of course, guys, like, I have a significant other. Like, I have someone I'm very serious with. I have a girlfriend, if you will, Miss TSUS. And like, honestly, to be transparent, it's not about me, right? It's really not, because I can deal with the bullshit. I can deal with the nonsense, and it doesn't bother me. It doesn't faze me. But I'm not going to, whether it be her, it be my family, I'm not going to subject the people that I love and care about to that foolishness going to games. I'm just not going to do it. Like, I'll be totally transparent with you. Thinking about the Tennessee series, like, she's going to come with me. Like, I honestly feel nervous about that. And that's really unfortunate. And it's kind of sad, but like, I just do, because people are so stupid, right? People are so ridiculous and they're so absurd. And so I value my privacy. Like, I really do. I value my privacy. I value being able to watch my favorite team play in peace. I value my peace of mind. Like, my peace is the number one priority over everything. So that's another big reason. And I'm not trying to lump on and say, Gamecock fans are great, but there is definitely a small portion that are terrible. They're just flat out terrible. And, again, this goes back to the conversation we had months ago where you had people in a Twitter space talking about they saw me at the Gator Bowl, and if I hadn't been around my group of friends, or if I'd been alone, they would have jumped me and whooped my ass. And of course, guys, it's 16, 17, 18-year-old kids that are losers, that have nothing going on in life, that are having this commentary and this discussion, and they never do anything. It's like, guys, I said it yesterday. People love to chirp on social media. I had people in January, February, when we dropped the tour dates, talking about, I'll see you at Greenville. I'll see you at Fort Mill. I'll see you at Somerville. I had somebody say, don't come to Myrtle Beach, we'll heckle. I guarantee you that guy won't show up Thursday. I guarantee you he won't, because nobody has shown up, because everybody talks shit on social media and nobody does anything about it in real life. It's just funny. It's cool to spew nonsense on social media, but when it comes to being about that action in real life, nobody is about it. But with that being said, I have people in my life I don't want to subject to that. Like, I just don't. And if that makes me, if you want to say I'm less of a fan, I don't give a damn what you say, man. Like, I really don't. I'm going to operate how I operate. And again, I value my peace. I value my peace of mind. And of course, I value the peace of those in my circle and my team and those around me. And I'm just not going to subject myself to the foolishness. So that's why I'm not quite as eager as I once was to, let's say, throw a tailgate and be like, hey, X marks the spot. I'm going to be right here, right? I'm going to be right here. I just don't, I'm not as eager to give access to myself to the masses as I once was. And, again, I don't think it's something, I'm not letting the inmates run the asylum. I'm not letting the slapdicks run the business, but it's just one of those things where, again, you weigh pros and cons, and like, I'm not getting paid to show up at a tailgate. You know what I mean? And like, I'm not saying it's all about money, if you will, but like, you really start to pick and choose like what you're doing, what you're not doing, and like what's really worth it. And, the love we feel is overwhelmingly more than the hate or the foolishness. But again, all it takes is one to really just, and especially again, when I've got people I love around me and family, friends, my significant other, like, I don't want to subject them, because listen, I've got rhino skin. I can put up with it. I'm conditioned to where, like, people could come by and talk shit about me. And I've had it happen, dude. I've had people chirp me at my tailgate. I've had people chirp me at my events. Like, I can deal with it. But for people that don't do what I do, aka everybody around me in my circle or just anybody, like that would be very abnormal. And that would be like very weird. And that would almost be for some people like a traumatizing experience. And I don't want to put them through that. Like I just, again, you can say whatever you want about me, but that's where I stand. And I don't know, maybe the people that are slap dicks and are absurd and ridiculous, and maybe the people that, that's something I think people don't think about. They don't think about on social media when they're spewing the nonsense they are. You pray for those people and you hope those people get the help they need, because it's like, dude, like you got to be in such a dark place to say some of the things you're saying. And like, you are just happily, like, you have no idea what that person's going through behind closed doors. Like, how is this affecting their mental health? How is this affecting their mindset? You know what I mean? Because, it does. It affects people. So anyways, guys, I didn't mean to go off on that long tangent, a long rant, but I get so many I get so many questions. Excuse me. I get so many questions about like, why am I not going to games? And again, the lead reasons why, efficiency, flexibility, taking advantage of things for the business side and taking advantage of that. But I am transparent with you all, and I'm very honest, and I would just be lying to you if I told you that it didn't have something to do just a little bit, 1%, with the slapdickery that I see on social media and some of the threats I've received and some of the craziness that I know comes with it, just flat out. So, it is what it is, and it's. Maybe I'll come around to the idea of throwing a tailgate, for the baseball stuff like that. But like, again, I'm not as eager as I once was. I'm just not. Like, I'd be lying to you if I said that I was. And, and it's like one of those things where I'm like, if I feel the need to like bring security to an event, like I don't want to do it. You know what I mean? I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. So it's, and that's my right. That's my prerogative. Again, it's not necessary for business for me to be at every single game or be at any of the freaking games. I mean, we've covered baseball more thoroughly and I would say more efficiently, more effectively at an elite level and better than any other entity. I haven't been at Founders Park one single time. So that will change. I will go, but I just keep it transparent with you all. And that's where we're at. And we will not let the slapdicks win. The slapdicks are not winning. And I will say this, guys, after going to every game last year, every game in 2021, every game in 2020 until the season was canceled, I've actually really thoroughly enjoyed watching from home this year. Like, I really have. I've enjoyed, again, the flexibility of that. I've really enjoyed that. I really have. I've enjoyed, because again, my obligation and goal is not to be the number one diehard fan of the Gamecocks. My obligation and goal is to provide the best Gamecocks content and coverage on the internet and the most entertaining Gamecocks content and coverage. So nowhere in that does it say going to every game. Like, that is the opposite of why you become an entrepreneur. Like, I became an entrepreneur to get out of the office, to get out of the 9-to-5 mode. I didn't become an entrepreneur to get chained to the ballpark. You know what I mean? And I'm not complaining about going, but I'm just saying, like, the flexibility and doing what you want, that's one of the many reasons you chase entrepreneurship and you take all the risks you do. So it's like, I can wake up and I can do whatever I want. I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to do anything. Right. And I felt myself in Columbia. I was like, if I don't get out of here, I'm never just going to stop going to games. Right. So I decided to switch things up. So John Rice, we're going on the Carnival Sunshine or something like that. Carnival Cruise though, John. Carnival Cruise. We're going for my sister's birthday. Going to be a lot of fun. But no, guys, the and it's not many. It's these slapdick kids on Twitter, which is totally fine. But the whole narrative that like I've gotten banned from the stadium or something like that, guys. If USC for even a moment tried some foolishness, some slapdickery like that, like if they tried to ban me from the stadium, do you not think I'd put USC on blast? Are you joking? Come on, man. You don't know me very well. If you think that I would be quiet about that. I can assure you, I have not gone to a game this season by choice, not by force. I can assure you. Guys, let's jump into a break, and then we'll get back to your calls The phone lines are open, of course, 843-790-3377. More your questions, comments, calls, and more. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, comments, calls. 843-790-3377. Going to appreciate you all tuning in. You can also text that number if you'd rather do so. Guys, had a great conversation this morning with Aaron Murray, former Georgia quarterback. That convo will drop Thursday on the podcast. Really good stuff. Exciting. We talked, of course, Gamecocks football, last season, this upcoming season, Shane Beamer, the South Carolina Georgia game, week 3. Even got a little Jadeveon Clowney jab in there, which was a lot of fun. But Aaron Murray does a great job covering college football, and I think you guys will definitely enjoy the conversation. Also, guys, another quick update, of course, a reminder, if you will. Thursday, we'll be at Carolina Ale House, Myrtle Beach, 6 o'clock. It'll all get going. We'll do a Q&A. We'll have merch for sale, the Beamer Ball to the Moon shirts, the Beamer Ball towels, koozies. We'll have koozies to give away. Going to be a lot of fun. And I see my guy John Rice commenting, and I know that we were in Fort Mill, which is up by Charlotte, but I'd love to do something uptown. That'd be fun. I'd love to get back uptown Charlotte and do something. That'd be a blast. Maybe we could get something at the Horseshoe. Maybe so. I don't know. Maybe those guys at the Horseshoe be down to collab. I don't know. I once knew I once knew some guys like on the board of the Charlotte Gamecock Club, and I still know them, but I haven't talked to them in forever. My guy Gray says, F the loud minorities. Love to hear and see you're doing well, man. Much love as always. Gray, much love to you, my man. Appreciate you. Appreciate my guy Gray. Let's see. Madison says, I'm following radio, TV, and TSUS to get my baseball needs. It's nice having your perspective, and you're having fun with the watch parties. The TV announcers suck, and the radio beeps are kind of dry. Keep doing you. Yeah, I mean, I think, Madison, too, there's so much value in those live stream watch-alongs. There really is, and I enjoy them. And again, man, it's just one of those things where it's like I love being at games, but at this point, like, I've been to so many, Madison. Like, I've been to so many. Like, I know exactly what I'm missing, right? So I've been to so many games, and the live stream watch-alongs, they're such a value add when it comes to content. And I'm so much more able to be plugged in, making content, creating content, if you will. I mean, like, guys, I'll be honest with you, even as good as South Carolina is, which is ironic that I'm there last year at every game when the team's terrible, and this year I'm not there, and they're really good. So maybe I am the ultimate jinx, but I don't miss going to games. Like, I really don't. I don't miss going. Like, it's a lot of fun, don't get me wrong, but I don't miss going. So, I don't know. What does that say about me? Anyways, guys, 843-790-3377. Would love to hear your thoughts. So let's get back into your questions. Brandon says, Chris, in 2000, Gamecock baseball went 50-6, 25-5 in the SEC during the regular season. That mark may never be broken. We lost in the regionals that year. I thought it was the Supers, Brandon. I thought that team lost to Louisiana Lafayette in the Supers. Maybe I'm wrong. Guys, also on a baseball note, Kip Balknight will have his jersey retired. The athletic department hopes to do it this weekend, weather permitting. Of course, Kip Balknight, National Player of the Year in 2000. Is the weather an issue this weekend? Let's see. He says weather permitting, like there might be some weather issues. Let's see. No. Friday. Thunderstorms, a 96% chance of rain. Okay. So it looks like it might clear out by Friday night when the game takes place. So we shall see. I understand now why they say weather permitting. So anybody going to the Auburn series, just be aware that Friday may get rained out. There might be a doubleheader Saturday. Never know. Anyways, guys, appreciate you all tuning in again. Podcast will drop Thursday. It'll be a full breakdown and preview of the series against Auburn. And right now, guys, of course, with football truly in the books, it is all baseball talk. It is hardcore baseball talk moving forward. Of course, which it should be, right? When you got a team like this, it absolutely should be. But yeah, really exciting stuff as we talk Yardcocks and break everything down. And that will be the topics of conversation on the podcast. You guys might recall last year, right? I don't know what we'll do. Again, hopefully we're talking South Carolina baseball throughout the end of June, and the Gamecocks are hoisting the trophy and winning the national championship. Because like last year, for example, right, the baseball season ended the end of May, right? You didn't make the postseason, whatever. And we spent the month of June doing our top 5 lists, which, I loved it, but also hated it at the same time. I loved it, but hated it at the same time, right? Because of what it meant in the sense that there was no postseason baseball. So, I think what we'll probably do, the plan will be this. The plan will be this. The Gamecocks will be in Omaha. College World Series will take us at least through like June 25th, 26th, hopefully the 29th, if you will. And probably from then until July 4th, we'll just kind of no live show, no podcast, which that won't be that long. I don't know, guys. It's hard to predict right now what the summer will have in store. But hopefully a lot of baseball talk, a lot of baseball celebrating. That would be awesome. And I think we do have that in store. I really do. I really do. Yeah, Trevi, last year, the month of June was shenanigans. Yeah, the top 5 list. That's what really took over. The top 5 lists. We did like top 5 of everything you can think of, basically. So I've got those graphics still. I mean, all those top 5 lists for me really haven't changed. So I'll probably utilize those at some point over the offseason just to just to give everybody something to talk about, right? In the month of July, if you will, there isn't quite as much going on. But I mean, guys, once we hit July, I start to hammer my preseason football stuff. I mean, it's crazy to think about, but it's crazy to think about, but I mean, dude, we spend 2 full months previewing the season, 2 full months with, because I'll drop my game by game predictions the week of July 4th. After the 4th, I'll drop my game by game predictions. That next week, we'll go on our season preview series for offense, defense, and special teams. Then it'll be SEC Media Days. We'll start our opponent previews, if you will. That'll run through the beginning of August. Fall camp will begin. And then we'll have our position unit preview series, which will run up into game week, and then it'll be game week. And the season will be here. We'll have our season simulation series as well. We'll have the Ale House tour, right? We'll have the summer tour, if you will. It'll be a lot of fun, man. I mean, it's funny, like the off season for us. There's no off season, dude. We keep rocking, we keep rolling. Going to be a good time. So Travis says, serious note, I appreciate the content, my friend. It really helps me keep me connected to my home state. Grateful for that, Travis. I'm grateful for you, my friend. Thank you so much. I'm grateful for you. Absolutely. What else was I going to say? Oh, also, guys, once July 4th starts, or once we get through July 4th, this might excite you all. Once we get through July 4th, we will return to 3 podcasts per week. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That will be the podcast schedule once we get into July. And it's one of those things, we honestly need 3 podcasts per week with all the preseason content we have. I mean, I've got it scheduled out, obviously, but like we need it. We absolutely need it because there's so much to dive into in the preseason. Guys, again, questions, comments, calls. Bit of a slower call day, probably because a lot of our guy Robbie Davis probably hasn't woken up yet. Our guy Robbie Davis maybe hasn't woken up yet, but no, kidding. Again, questions, comments, calls, guys. We'd love to hear from you all. Appreciate your love and support. Appreciate you guys being flexible and rolling with the punches and tuning in. And I know next week will be weird with no TDC Monday through Thursday. I will be in the Bahamas, so I'll be taking some videos for sure, talking Gamecocks, right, from the Bahamas, if you will. It'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, we're gonna be living our best lives next week for sure. Not that we don't on a daily basis. I felt a little called out when JC said people are playing golf. Actually, I got to admit it. I got to admit it. The reason that we moved up the show today, I'm actually heading to Columbia to play golf with a good buddy of mine. So yeah, I'll be in the capital city later today. But we're playing golf. He asked me to play, and I haven't seen this guy in quite a while, and he's expecting or having his first child within the next 2 weeks, and so he'll be busy with that. And I was like, you know what? Let's get one last round of golf in before the kid gets here. So, going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. We're teeing off at about 3:30 or so. I was like, you know what? Let's move up TDC so I can. Let's move up in TDC so I can have a little afternoon. Dylan Potter, we're playing at Wildwood today. We're playing at Wildwood. My buddy lives on the course at Wildwood, so we're having a good time. We're gonna have a good time today. Really looking forward to it. Yep, really looking forward to it. Anyways, guys, not sure if you saw this, but I posted the clip this morning. I went on with Mark Ryan yesterday, and he asked me if you could, I said that the Gamecocks are not a wine and cheese crowd, right? Like the Rowdy Roosters are active. They're in your face. They're, one of the most intimidating atmospheres in college baseball, but of course, college sports as well, right? I was asked to describe this fan base as like food items, if you will. And I describe this fan base as a spicy margarita and the hottest barbecue that you've ever had. How would you what is that accurate? And what food would you Dylan Potter says Rowdy Roosters are more like Busch Lights and peanuts. I hear you, my friend. I hear you. Kemper, my guy, says hit him long and true today. Chris Kemper, you're the man. I appreciate you. Hope the fam's doing well. Hope the fam's doing well, my friend. I appreciate you. You're the man. You're the man for sure. Let's see. Colton, almost a 2-hour meeting this morning at 10, but I made it, I guess. Yeah, no, Colton. Hey, Colton. Hey. Better late than never, my friend. Brian and Chris, are we looking at any running backs in the portal? Per J.C. Sherbert, we haven't found one we like enough to take, I guess. I think we're looking, no doubt, Brian. I think we're looking, no doubt. No, we're no doubt looking. Oh, here we go. Okay, we're back. All right, we're back. The hackers having some fun with us here on this this Tuesday. Our good friend Robbie Davis tried to call in. Robbie, if you'd like. Okay. If you'd like to call back in, Robbie, you're more than welcome. Sorry about that, guys. The hackers are alive and well today. I don't know what just happened there. Sometimes Melon just craps out, man. I have no idea. Sometimes it just craps out. when you're asking technology to do a lot of different things, at times that can happen. But again, phone lines are open. Robbie Davis actually called right when it went to crap. So here we go. Let's jump to the phone lines here.
Robbie Davis, Zaxby's Hall of Famer.
Robbie, what's going on, my friend? How are you?
I am doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing great as well, man. I appreciate you asking. What's going on?
I was going to give you my prediction. I'm going to go ahead and tell you now. I'm going to give you my prediction for this weekend today, because you said you weren't going live tomorrow, right?
We will be live tomorrow, not Thursday or Friday. Tomorrow will will be normal noon to 2.
Okay, I'll give you my prediction tomorrow. I still need some time to think on it a little bit.
Okay.
But I wanted to just reiterate a little bit of what JC said earlier in the show, right, about recruiting and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And solely because of Shane Beamer being our head coach, okay, I'm not really too worried about that side of things, because of his first stint as an assistant here at South Carolina, okay? And the players that we wound up getting while he was here for his first stint. So I'm not really too concerned about recruiting. Now, whoever we get, great, kudos, happy, fantastic, right? And I definitely think we could have a very good year. I'm not going to say great year quite yet for the football team, but it could happen. And I definitely could see us doing better this coming year than we did last year, even though we have a new OC. I think Dowell Loggins will come up with the perfect game plan, and with Knox at tight end, and then you have Juice at wide receiver. Like I've said before, you've got those two guys on the field, and you double one of them, the other one's going to be open. And even though it was in a spring game, I liked what I saw from Trey Knox.
Yeah, I think Trey Knox is definitely going to be a big factor in this offense for sure.
And who does the baseball team play this weekend? I haven't.
We've got the Auburn Tigers. The Auburn Tigers.
Are we going to be in the not so friendly confines of Founders, or are we going?
We are at home. Yes, we are at home.
Okay. My message to the Rowdy Roosters is show up, show out, and make life a living hell for 3 days. Because I could tell while watching the Florida games, okay, the fans got under their skin.
Yeah.
And they were not too happy.
Yeah, no, it's I think as JC Sherbert said it, man, Gamecock Nation is back. I don't know if you heard those comments from him, but I do agree with him that I feel like from 2014 to 2020 into 2021, like this fan base, we kind of went into the darkness. If not in the sense of like disappeared, but it's in the sense of like the results on the field were just very, very tough. You know what I mean? So
yeah, we kind of went into a hibernation.
Yeah, I mean a little bit.
took a slight hibernation, and then now this fan base is about as excited and as happy as ever with the way the baseball team's doing, the fantastic job that Lamont Paris is doing in recruiting, the job that Beamer and his coaching staff are doing in recruiting. I mean, and I hate to use a line from a movie, but if you build it, they will come. Okay, if you build a program the correct way, fans will show up. They will spend. They will, and like Beamer said in a video that I watched about a year ago, he took the play. I think you saw the video. I can't remember, but he took the players to the one of the upper decks of the stadium, and he told the players, like, fans spend hard-earned money to come watch you play. Fans park on Bluff Road and walk all the way from Bluff Road and tailgate to come watch you play. Same thing with any other sport. They spend their hard-earned money to come watch you play, whenever they could be using their hard-earned money to go on a vacation or something.
It's a good point, Robbie. It's a good point.
I mean, and I definitely think with the way the athletics are going, it's going to be a great time to be a Gamecock, and I can't wait to see where we go from there.
Indeed. Robbie, always a pleasure, my guy. I appreciate you taking the time to call in. And, yeah, man, hope you have a great day.
You too, buddy. All right, man. You have
man.
a good one, and don't do too bad on the golf course. Okay?
I will do my very best, my man.
I believe in you. Even if no one else does, I believe in you, okay?
Thank you, Robbie. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
All right, buddy. You have a good one.
Robbie the man. Take care, bud. Appreciate you. Great stuff from Robbie Davis. We had somebody else trying to call in. Batesburg, Leesville, I think. So if you'd like to call in, yeah, love to get you on. 843-790-3372. Grace says, I've been out of the social media world for the past year-ish until recently. But when did you move out of Cola? What led you to it, if you don't mind me asking? Yeah, for sure, man. So I moved out middle of July last year. And really what led to it, I mean, the first things first is this. The place that I was staying, the rent doubled. So that was the first thing. I was getting out of my place either way. So, I mean, really it just turned into it just turned into just finding a place that I liked. Really, just finding a place I liked. And my mind had been open to moving anyways. And I was open to staying in Columbia, by the way. And it just turned out the stars aligned and Greenville made sense. And, you know, decided to push my limits a little bit and get out of my comfort zone, if you will. And that's sort of what led. I mean, it's not some crazy story. I feel like it was just one of those things where, again, I flexibility and efficiency were at the top of my mind in regards to being an entrepreneur. And I wanted to, I didn't look at Columbia as like, this is the last stop. I'm going to be here forever. I never looked at it that way. I don't look at Greenville that way either. I mean, as much as I like Greenville, I don't see Greenville probably being the forever stop, if you will. I mean, I got a lot of exploring to do and living to do. And I don't want to just be kind of confined to one spot right now. But I will say I love Greenville. I mean, I love Columbia too, but I love Greenville. Greenville's awesome. Greenville's awesome. Great place. Dylan Potter, Chris shoots a 91 today. Who's taking the over? Who's got the under? Dylan, if I shoot a 91 today, I will sell my clubs and buy a tennis racket. I'm going to say that. I'm not shooting 91 if I have anything to say about it, Dylan. I can tell you that right now. Never know, though. It could be one of those days. Anyways, let's see. I don't know who it was trying to call in. If you'd like to call back in, I don't know. Anyways, guys, that being said, we're going to jump into one final break. Brandon M's favorite time. On the other side, we'll close it out with more of your questions, comments, calls, and more. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Final 10 minutes or so in the Daily Crow, taking your questions, comments, calls. 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377. Brian Dean says, last time I played 18 holes, I shot a 77. It's pretty damn good, Brian. Pretty solid. Says I can drive the ball pretty good. My short game messes with me some. Hey, that's the key to the game, man. 100 yards and in. That is the key to the game, for sure. This is a really surprising statistics. The most defensive backs drafted by a school since 2010, and the Gamecocks are not on the list. LSU with 21, Bama with 21, Florida with 18, Ohio State with 18, Clemson sucks with 15, Florida State with 13, Va Tech with 13, Iowa with 11. Iowa with 11, that seems weird. Miami with 11, Texas with 11, and Southern Cal with 11. So I thought it would have been more for Carolina. But, I mean, I guess that makes sense. I guess that does indeed make sense. Let's see. Madison says, I threw my clubs in the lake. I hear you. Kemper, how long you driving it nowadays? Kemper, I need a new driver, but I mean, I'm poking my drives out 300 for sure. Yeah. I mean, again, I need new equipment though, dude. I'm hitting like a freaking Titleist 915. Like it's an old driver. I haven't pulled the trigger on new clubs yet. I'm going to do that very soon, but I have not done that quite yet. Haven't done that quite yet. How about the anonymous reports coming out of Clem Sucks, by the way? The anonymous scout that said this, quote, Dabo's the worst, said one scout. You go to Pro Day and he talks about everyone on the team as if they're the next great NFL player. It's like, come on, man. He talks about the fifth-year senior that hasn't played. He's talking about how he should be a starter in the NFL. He's so full of shit. That whole culture says a lot about a team and the players pampering players, making excuses for them, and enabling certain things with players. He's so full of shit is what that scout has to say about Dabo Swinney. What a quote. What a quote. What a quote. Confirming what we all already knew, right? Guys, by the way, TDC tomorrow will return to the normal scheduled time, noon to 2. So back to normal tomorrow, noon to 2. And then, of course, no TDC on Thursday and Friday just because, guys, we got to travel. Myrtle Beach is 4 hours away, and there's just no way I could realistically swing it. Panic Critter says, I love you, Chris. I love you too, Panic Critter. Never stop panicking. Never stop panicking. I'm glad we're spreading love here on this spreading love on this Tuesday. John Eber, DJ took a shot at Clem Sucks. He's at Oregon State. John Eber, did he take a shot or was he just honest? I saw his comments. I thought they were just very candid and honest of what happened last year. But maybe he's salty. Maybe he's salty. Maybe he's a little bit salty. I mean, you know, I think he's got a right to be, I think, honestly. Guys, again, as we wrap this thing up, final couple minutes of the show, would love to hear from you. Some last minute questions, comments, what have you. Let's see. Madison needs some more Cuck Flemson shirts. I could remake those in comfort colors if you like, Madison. Some Cuck Flemson shirts. We like the Cuck Flemson stuff. I'm down. Why not? I'm the merch man. We'll do it. We'll do it. Guys, be sure to support the Carolina Rise events taking place Thursday and Saturday for sure, man. Thursday in Columbia, and Saturday in Charleston. You know, I think it's kind of hold on. I think it's just I think it's kind of weird. Like in the sense of you like see this. I don't think there's a rivalry between Carolina Rise and Garnet Trust, but let me just say this. There's this faction of people that support Garnet Trust and Gamecock Central and On3 passionately and their events and what they do and their fundraising. And then there's a different faction of people that support Carolina Rise and 24/7 and the Big Spur and what they're doing. But it's like, why? Why would you not support both? Like, I'm saying in the sense of like, there's some people that I think like they don't like the other faction. Like the faction of, or the purpose of both of those businesses and entities, if you will, is the same. Like their mission statements are the same to support Gamecocks athletics. So, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. You know, I'm sure other fan bases have it. And there's a reason I don't spend time, guys, as I have like peanut in my mouth here. I was eating some almonds over the break. There's a reason why I don't spend time on this show, like talking about, I mean, we really could talk about on a daily basis some of the drama, right, that happens within the Gamecocks fan base and with different content creators and stuff like that. But I just choose not to because I don't really care and nobody cares to hear about it, I don't think. But it's just interesting. It's interesting some of the in-fan base fighting that occurs and that takes place. It is. It is. It's a little bit wild, but you know, it is what it is. And as I said yesterday on Mark Ryan's show, man, I'll tell you this. I know sometimes we complain and we gripe and all that, but dude, I honestly I love the trolling. I love the energy. Let me just put it that way. I love the energy. I don't necessarily love the trolling, but I just love the energy because it is the passion of people that support the Gamecocks. It's the passion of Gamecock fans that is why I'm able to do what I do for a living. I mean, really, truly. So I'd much rather the energy be brought. I'd much rather fans have electric energy than be passive and indifferent and not care, right? So I love it. I love the passion, man. It's a lot of fun. As I always say, beauty is in the banter. Gamecock fan is back, and Gamecock fan, I've already talked about the fan base and everything. You completely missed my spiel earlier in the show. I love the Gamecocks fan base. I do. I love the Gamecocks fan base. No, you already missed everything earlier in the show. You'll have to go back and listen to that. So I'm sure you'll find a lot of value in it. And I will say this though, because John Edwards says there's idiots in the fan base. John Edwards, there's idiots though. There's idiots in every fan base, and that's why I didn't really get the whole in all kinds of weather thing when he was like, I mean, here's the thing: if I go to social media and I wake up and say I want to prove that Alabama fans are the worst, or I want to prove Tennessee fans are the worst, or I want to prove Gamecocks fans are the worst, like I can go to social media and find enough people to support that narrative to make you think that this fan base is the worst. They're terrible. Like, yeah, there are shitheads in every fan base, but it's a very, very small number of the much greater majority, if you will. So, I mean, you know, yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. So, yeah, that's why I kind of thought that was a little bit weird. I didn't take it personally what in all kinds of weather said, but yeah, definitely. He certainly felt the wrath. He felt the wrath. He felt the wrath on social media. No doubt. No doubt. So, no, anyways, I love Gamecock fans. I love obviously I love Gamecock fans, love the energy, love the passion. I mean, I'd argue the most passionate fans in college sports. I mean, really, truly. I mean, there's just nothing like it, man. There's just nothing like it. There's nothing like it. So, all kinds of weather's a Florida guy. So I don't know if you might have missed that on Twitter, but that was taking place. Guys, we've hit noon. Hey, I appreciate it. Thank y'all so much for being flexible with with everything, with the show obviously moving and everything else. We'll be back to normal tomorrow, noon to 2. No TDC Thursday, Friday, so should be a good one tomorrow. But in the meantime, guys, stay tuned to all the content. In case you missed anything, you can go back and listen on YouTube, or the podcast version of this show will drop at 1 o'clock today. Always drops just an hour after we conclude the show. So it'll drop at 1. You want to go back and listen to the audio version, you can do that. All those tuned in via podcast, thank y'all so much. Guys, in the meantime, hey, appreciate you all. Stay tuned to the content bleeding out the eyeballs. You guys have a great rest of your Tuesday, and we will talk to you all